Some of you may have watched the video I did on making stripwood like this. Now I've cut these into just 6-inch pieces just so they're easy for me to manage, and you just run the little block of wood with a knife on it just across like that. On the thick ones you might need to run it twice. Did that? No, I will need to run that one twice. There you go. Perfectly shaped 5mm by 5mm square timber, as you can see. Just great. But the advantage of these jigs is when you get the next sheet in line, say this is 4mm, which it is, I take the jig that is for 5mm, I put it on the same piece and I run it through, the board slipping. I'll run it through twice like I did before. I'd already cut the once. And there I have a 4 by 5 or 5 by 4 perfectly piece of timber. So that's another sheet I get like that. So I put that one aside and I bring out the 3mm. The 3mm wood is exactly the same as the others. I use a 5mm jig. I run it through. And there you are, 5mm by 3mm strip wood. You can make them as long as you like. Then I get the 2.5mm strip wood, and I run the 5mm jig on that as well. I got that right through the first time. So then I have 2.5mm by 5mm strip wood. You getting the picture? Then I get the 2mm board and I put the 5mm jig up against that. I run it through and that gives me 2mm by 5mm. Then I come down to 1.5mm board. The 1.5mm I run through again using the 5mm jig, and that gives me 1.5mm or 5mm by 1.5mm strip wood. And you just keep on going. This is the 1mm strip wood with the 5mm jig. That buckled a bit there. There you go. And there's 1mm by 5mm strip wood. And you can cut it as long as you like. I just cut this to 6 inches because it was easy for me to use, and it gives me all the different sizes. There's 2 thicknesses there I don't have. I must put the board somewhere else. So then you go to the next jig, which is 1.5 by 1.5, and then you take out the 1mm first and you go up the other way. There you are. That one went skew-if. Sometimes that happens. You can run that through again. I won't do that here now, but we'll go. My hand slipped up there. So that's how you use all these different jigs. Now I don't want to go through every single size and show you. I've got 6 altogether, all different sizes. And what that does is give me a great array of strip wood, all different sizes, whatever size you want. So one jig of 5mm can go right through the entire stock that you have on balsa and give you all different lengths of timber. And of course, if you need a lot more of one particular size, like this one, 5mm by 1mm, you just cut a whole heap and then cut it up. I just do this in manageable sizes. You don't have to do it. You can do it in any length you like. So that's how it goes. from 5mm by 5mm. Where's that one? There it is. All the way down to 5mm by 1mm. Now you use each different jig for each different size, or go back to the video where I actually showed you how to build these and make whatever size you want. They don't cost anything to make except the razor blade. They're very, very cheap, very economical, and it really enhances your scratch building. Now, I'm a member of Logan District Model Railroad Club and the National Model Railroad Association, and I encourage you to join a club and learn all these tricks in model railroading and how you do it. Look at that, that's nice and fine. That one's a 2mm one. There it is, 1mm by 5mm. Look at that. There's a lot you can do with that, even down lower than that. You know, 1mm by 1mm, 3mm by 3mm, 2mm by 1mm, right up to 6mm by 1mm. All these jigs cover everything. You only need half a dozen jigs, and the more different size bolts you have, the more different planks you get. I hope you enjoy this little one. It's a continuation. I'm calling it number 2. It's actually number 5, but I'll call it number 2 because it follows on from number 1. So, great modeling. Have a good time. Thank you very much. Oh, and please subscribe and just click the little bell, you know, and you'll know when more coming up. There's 5 altogether in my series now, and more coming. I've got some ideas I'd just like to share. Most of these things people have already done. I'm just doing it a different way. So, all the best. And all this bolster that I have here, all the different sizes, there's a lot here I haven't cut yet because I was going to make different sized jigs, and I'm building a jig for doing VJ boards, so you can butt them up. Yeah, you can butt these up as VJ, that's how they come out like that, or just put a bit of sandpaper down the middle before you glue them all up like that. And I'm doing weatherboards or clapboards or shipboards on it. Every country seems to have a different name for them, and I wouldn't be able to do all of these little bolster tricks if it wasn't for Esclays at Underwood. I really appreciate them giving me the bolster so I can just record how I do this for my hobby, which I hope is your hobby as well. I do scratch building and kit bashing, and I drop a lot of kits as well, and I crack a few. So it's a great hobby. Get to a club, get into Esclays, tell them that you watched this video and you're in there to get a great discount. You know, negotiate with him. He'll give you whatever discount you want. I'm pretty sure of it. Great bunch of people. Thank you very much for watching.